All right, folks, Vitek here from Wani, and with us today we have the one and only Martin and Husky of Asphyx. How are you guys doing today?
Very, very well. Bit slowly getting a bit tired because we do a lot of interviews.
Hmm.
It's only good to do that to it's for the good of the band, and it's very nice to hear the very good reactions that we have on the new album. So yeah, very happy about that. I'm doing well. Yeah.
To be honest with you, Incoming Death took 4 years, to come out, and it's. I'm sure, over the period of next, 2 months when the album will be out, fans are definitely gonna be pumped. But how about you guys? I mean, 4 years in the making. I'm sure you guys must be super excited to unleash this album to your fans.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, it's been just simply too long. 4 years. Uh, Actually, quite unimaginable for a death metal album.
Hmm.
But we had a lot of setbacks. From the beginning of Bob that couldn't continue anymore as he had to take more care of his family. Then we had to work in Husky as a drummer. And by the time we were that far, and also still doing a lot of shows in between, I think it's about 1.5 or 2 years ago that we finally were able to start writing new material.
Hmm.
Well, I think normally the process for Asphyx will be, let's say, every 2 years or something with an album. I think that's quite normal for a band. So yeah, 4 years is actually the double. So yeah, I'm really really excited. Well, first, very glad and really really a pleasure that the album is finished and the way it turned out. But yeah, also to unleash it upon mankind, as you call it, and to especially also to find out what the Asphyx fans will think of it.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that we finished all the recordings and stuff because it's my first record with my favorite band. So I'm also really excited and I really want to see how the reaction is of the fans doing my drumming and stuff.
Absolutely, man. I'm really glad to hear Incoming Death. I mean, it clearly reflects brutality, that perfect blend of raging speed, that grinding doom, yet something that really made you guys stand out in the scene, right from the 80s. This is pure Asphyx and it's glorious. And it's really good to see the source of inspiration that is, you know, with you guys while writing it. So I really want to know what was that main source of inspiration, that motivation that took this material to just another level.
Whew, that's not easy to explain in a few words, really. I think first of all, we realized ourselves very well that Death Heaven was a very good album.
Hmm.
So that we have to work probably double hard to try and at least level that album. And I wasn't even thinking of topping it maybe because I thought that would be not possible. And then without Bob's guiding spirit, it would probably have been even worse. That's what I thought in the beginning. But Paul is inspiration. I think also for the doom that he had a few personal losses, which led him, I guess, to compose the melodies and the slow doom parts. But yeah, for us, with Husky as a different drummer, it's also like a challenge to write, to come up with some old-fashioned, like faster, up-paced
Definitely so.
and most of the music from Asphyx did inspire me actually to write the lyrics. So when Paul came with certain songs, then I just knew what I was going to use for certain songs to write things about. And Asphyx basically is a band that we do everything very spontaneous. So if we think, okay, a riff is great, then okay, we use it because if we think the riff is great, the fans will love the riff as well, just like us, because we are fans of the genre in the first place.
Right. That's good to hear because look, it's very difficult to say, but Death Hammer was probably the pinnacle of what Asphyx could possibly achieve. What you guys did with Death Hammer was phenomenal. And then with that sort of expectation in my mind, I started listening to Incoming Death, and it took me a couple of spins. That's where I realized that this is not Death Hammer, but something beyond what you could possibly achieve. And I'm sure for you guys, you were aware that it's difficult to write songs that can match the impact, it had on Death Hammer and also the fans who loved Death Hammer?
Yeah, yeah, probably. I mean, if I look back, and by the time that we released Death Hammer, we all really knew that we made a very strong album. We were very, very proud of that. And yeah, but after, you know, when that kind of first euphoria kind of slips away, then you get, of course, the question in the back of the head, like, okay, so, you know, how are you going to manage if you have to make a follow-up on this one? It's not going to be easy. So that's why I'm double pleased that yeah, the boys and me, you know, managed yeah, to do that and to not lose the yeah, the typical style that Asphyx has, even though it may sound a little bit as a different album, but on the other hand, like a Death the Brutal Way has not that many faster songs as Death Hammer has also, you know, so people can expect us to yeah, produce albums that sometimes are a little bit slower than the other one. It's just the variety of style that we have, you know. Now the variety of yeah, of a particular style that Asphyx also has.
And that's a good thing with Asphyx, that you can play very fast songs, very hard mid-pace songs, and also very, very slow songs, and you still hear in every song that it's Asphyx. You know?
Yes.
So that's you have a big range in the band from that for that thing, you know.
Yeah.
That's I think that's what makes the band also a bit unique.
Definitely right. And you know, it just took you guys one big jam session over the weekend, and you guys ended up with 7 tracks. And that's wonderful. And you got to give it to the Decibel guys for asking you guys to write a song, which eventually led to you guys come together, because you guys don't stay in a, you know, in the same city. You live, you know, the distance is more between the members. So this gave you a chance to basically churn out all the thoughts, all the ideas, everything over the weekend. And here we have Incoming Death ready.
Yeah, it's basically that was basically the thing that led to it all, yeah. Because we just thought, okay, we just go into a studio and we quickly do the flexi for Decibel, and then when we, you know, once with, I mean, the thing is with Asphyx, if we are in a practice room or in a studio, it's basically the same kind of thing. The drums are there, the amps are there, and that's all we need to, you know, to play and to have a good time. And so when we had the Decibel song done, there was a lot of time left in that studio because it's only for one song, you know. So the boys started jamming, and then yeah, there, Incoming Death, the song was born, and also really a lot of the doom tracks. And then we said to ourselves, wow, just like you said, we have 7 songs ready. This thing, you know, is leading to something. Yeah. So it was way more. It was more fertile than we thought it could be, because actually we expected just to do one song and that's it. But
yeah, that's the same. You know, I was actually listening to the Grand Denial, as well as Death the Only Immortal. These 2 tracks are the longest on the album, the 7 minutes and the 8-minute piece, and how Husky has, you know, it has all the elements of Husky's drumming skills, right from the slower one to the faster pace. But at the same time, it's that wonderful ethereal outro on the Grand Denial was such a wonderful, you know, kind of, you know, storm before the calm before the storm begins. You know, it was something like that for me. A classic Asphyx sound, which I've heard all my life, how you guys have evolved. But I really want to know, what was the thought process behind these 2 songs? The Grand Denial, also the Death, the Only Immortal.
well, basically, the thing is, when I heard what Paul made out of the song in the end, I was very much pleasantly surprised about the melody lines, because when they record the drum tracks with Husky, it's just basically all what you have is a rough rhythm guitar. So I had no idea, and no one did of the whole band, what Paul was going to do with all the rest. That was, you know, he had it all set. So then finally, after when he was done with all the guitar parts, which he did at home, then we heard everything that he had in mind, and then what he was thinking of how to finish the songs off, and that was just marvelous. I mean, yeah, it even gave myself goosebumps, you know, really got under my skin, and that also worked again to trigger my inspiration for the lyrics. But yeah, I mean, the credits for these songs will completely go up to Paul, because he did an outstanding job with this the melody lines that he uses, the melancholy, the atmosphere that he creates with it. It's yeah, it's a bit because Paul is on honeymoon and he just got married, so he's with his new wife.
More inspiration.
Nice, really nice.
More inspiration.
A lot more inspiration. But he forgot to exactly apologize because I asked him, like, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of questions about your musical inspiration and the way you build up the songs and with your melody lines. But unfortunately, he mentioned he was too busy, of course, preparing the wedding and to write something down about that. So I'm trying to speak on behalf of him, but like I said, it's not my brain that composed it. But for us as Asphyx, and the boys that didn't write the riffs and the leads, it was just really a big, pleasant surprise and great compliments go out to Paul.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
I also have to say that these two songs were maybe the first and the slowest songs I ever recorded with a band in my small career of trying to be a drummer. It was a good experience and I really enjoyed it and turned out good.
Absolutely, it did.
So for drummers, it was easier to play slow than fast.
No, that's definitely wrong.
That's not the case.
Wonderful, guys. Martin, I gotta give it to you. I mean, your vocals on the album, it's claustrophobic. It's dangerous. It kind of makes me feel that I have an M1 tank right parked on my chest, and things just don't go easier with your voice. Good to hear you just sounding evil, sounding tortured. I don't know, man. You've been a luminary of the death metal vocal since the late '80s for me.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I mean, I really appreciate you like the vocals on this one, because first of all, it wasn't easy to I always try to have kind of original vocal lines and also original topics of songs. I'm not the one that wants to write a number 367 song called Sacrifice. So with the lyrics that I write now, and especially also the atmosphere that's in the album, I try to live myself into it while singing it in, and give that extra kind of feeling, if you can call it that way, with a voice like me.
Right.
But to create the atmosphere that every single song has for itself. And the cool thing is, though, on this album, for the very first time, I tried a new technique out. Mm-hmm. I always wanted to do that, in fact. But I never thought of, because when you go into the studio, normally they always have the microphone on a stand, with a screen in front of it that catches all the saliva that come out, and that's a lot with me.
True.
At this time, Tom said to me, well, try and hold it in your hand and just sing it in the way you do it live, on the stage. And I go, you sure? He says, yes, it's because it's a type of microphone that can do that, and Dan is happy with the sound of the microphone, so let's go. Mm-hmm. So I did. This time I was just holding it in my hand, and I just stood there in the studio like I was being on stage, and it was really a pleasure. It was way more convenient and easy to do it that way, because I could bang on the songs. I wasn't static in front of this screen and this microphone standing in front of me. Right. So it was really a wonderful experience, and I'm sure I'm going to do that for all, for every record that I'll record after this one, hopefully.
That's wonderful, man. That's wonderful. What are the plans of taking this album live? I mean, I really want to hear these tracks live. They're meant to be unleashed on stage.
Yeah, hopefully we can do that. What we first do is we plan on 2 special release shows. Mm-hmm. One in the Netherlands, which is our home country, and close to Paul's hometown. Mm-hmm. And one in Germany at the Turok, because it's a kind of a tradition that we do our release shows there. And that's where the usually really hardcore, die-hard Asphyx fans come along. And we get along really well with the owner also of Turok, and he deserves that thing. And the fans deserve that too. But these are the shows that we picked out to try and play as much of the new album as possible. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes the problem is we can play a lot of shows during a year, but a lot of shows are also at festivals. Yeah. And we only can play 40 to 50 minutes. And then for us, the big problem that we face is that try and make a good set list that everybody appreciates.
Right.
You know? So I'm sure on festival with only 50 minutes, well, you know, we have to go on stage and play the rack, which is 10 minutes. We have to play, well, let's just say, Forgotten War, or we have to play Deathhammer, or we have to do these are songs that just have to be an Asphyx set.
True.
So with festivals, we are not sure how much time there will be left to fit in a few new songs, which is short, because it's a necessity. But yeah, it will be really tough. So I'm really looking forward to the release shows first, because that's where we can actually really
Play the new ones.
And as many headlining shows for ourselves, you know, as a band, okay, Asphyx with maybe 2 support bands, and then we can play whatever, 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours, and yeah, like you say, unleash a lot of new material.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you, spared some time today.
Hopefully. Thank you very much for this wonderful interview, Vitek.
Yeah.
It really was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
very
guys.
nice.
Thanks for being so positive about the album. Really appreciate that. Thank you.